Recently, I was on a little dig and I uncovered a restaurant with 0 ratings and 0 reviews. This is always a kind of a risky click, but I checked it out anyway and they had kind of an interesting menu, so I ordered the whole damn menu. I have it right here. One reason why it is interesting is because they have a very small menu and they have 5 or 6 things. They do have like 3 sodas, and I didn't get all the sodas, so it might be a little bit clickbaity. Sorry about that. But they also had one mystery drink. It's kind of a wild card, and I did get that. So let me show you what I got. By the way, I don't even know what I got because their menu, it was a little bit vague. You know, I wasn't really sure about it. But it came out to $28. The whole menu at this restaurant came out to $28. And that's pretty crazy because, I mean, $28, you look like a baller. You walk in and you're like, let me get one of each. See, I'm really terrible at these, free-form kind of handwritten Korean. So we'll have to figure it out. I think I know what we're working with, but as you can see, we have quite a few things. Wow. This is a lot of food for $28, man. So, this right here is what they're calling a cheese steak burger. Not really sure exactly what that means. This is their truffle cheesesteak burger. We also have some coleslaw, some house-made coleslaw. I believe everything here is homemade. Chili, homemade chili, I believe, and house-made bread. House bread to go along with the chili. So this is kind of a little combo pack. We have some French fries. I'll show you everything a little bit better. And then the X Factor, the Capri Sun. I don't know if I've ever seen that as an option, but this brings me back. This really does bring me back to 3rd grade. All right. So we also got a couple sauces. We got ketchup, condiments, I guess, and then something else that I'm not really sure what this is for. Maybe a kind of a jardiniere for the cheesesteak. Coleslaw over here, chili over here, Capri Sun back here. This is probably, I guess, their main thing. This is their cheese steak burger, and I wasn't sure what they meant by that. I was wondering if there was a burger patty, and then they also kind of like put cheesesteak meat on it. It appears that it is just a cheesesteak in the form of a burger. And as you can see, this bread, house made, it looks homemade. Let me just tell you that, but I'm sure it's good. Homemade bread is always fire. I think I'm gonna start with this. And if you want to take a look under the hood, whoa, dang, yeah, this is really piping hot, by the way. Plethora of meat, onions, grilled, we got peppers, we got cheese, not sure what kind, but this thing is hefty. Going in. Flavor on 10. Texture is on 7. I've had cheesesteaks that have, it's a little bit more tender. I've never been to Philly, so I've never had a true authentic cheesesteak. The meat tastes amazing, perfectly seasoned. You can encounter a little bit of chew with it, but so if you're one of those those texture people who's like, oh, I like the flavor, but it just the texture doesn't do it for me. I get you. I know what you mean. But do not let that turn you off from this. Even though I'm not going to name the place, local spot. Don't want to, I don't know. I don't know, but right off the bat, so far, pretty good. Very cheesy, meaty. I love the onions, the grilled onions, caramelized onions, and peppers. I really am curious about this, so let's try that. It's kind of, yeah, didn't really give you much. Yep. Oh yeah. I mean, I think I might just finish this off right now. The bread, or the buns, I should say. I'm guessing it's the same thing as this. Just kind of, this was cut up and this was cut this way. My English sucks. The bun is good. It has some flavor to it. I honestly think they should have gone with more of a traditional, you know, burger bun or hoagie style. There are maybe some herbs in there or something. I'm not really sure, but it is giving it flavor, which is not bad. But personally, I just like the meat, the cheese, and anything else in the cheesesteak to shine. And you know what? Shout out to Mike G. I'm pretty sure I saw a video. He's like, you know, where I'm from, we used to dip our cheesesteaks in the ketchup. So let me try that. Life by Mike G. The old school Brothers Green. Oh man. So this is already starting a little bit unusually. Usually I don't eat the main thing first without trying anything else, but that's what happened. I don't know. It was actually really good, and the texture of the meat, I think it did get better. Some of it, you know, there's always a few bad apples. So the first couple bites, maybe I just got the gristly, not really gristly, but just more tougher to eat ones. But the rest of it was super tender. It just went down like nothing. Let's take a little drink. And actually, let's eat a fry. Because this is going to take me forever to get the straw off. And I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the dead air. You know what I mean? Crispy fries. These are golden, crispy, thick cut fries. Love these fries. I love these fries. They seem like fries you get at maybe like a deli type of situation. Skin on. I think everything here is just completely homemade. And that's like the fact that they have 0 ratings and 0 reviews is just, I hope I check back on them a year from now or whatever and they have way more ratings and good reviews. Capri Sun Orange. That's a throwback. I haven't had this for a while, so I can tell you a story about this from 3rd grade, but maybe a little bit later. I think since I just had one of this is probably very similar, except with some truffle and mushroom and truffle infusion. Let's try some fries. I already tried them. Let's try the chili. So the chili, like I said, the chili and the bread came in a set. Usually I'd like to try the chili on its own, but since it did come in a set, I'm going to try it like this. Alright. It's good. Really good chili here. It's not winning any championships. With that being said, I've never been a judge, so I'm not sure exactly what they're looking for. It is very much my style, though. It's very thick, you know. It's more like a. Sometimes you might get a chili that's a little bit watery. This one's saucy, and you get There's beans in here. I think they're using baked beans and kidney beans, which is I've never seen that before. It's got a nice chili flavor. I feel like it could use a little bit more chili flavor is what I'll say about it. Definitely a little bit more. I'd say the chili is... See, mid just sounds so bad. Like, it's not... But it is middle of the road. Middle of the road chili. So, I guess it's mid, but not in a bad way. And now, let's try this coleslaw. Some slaw. I love some good slaw. Looking at the screen, you might as well be looking at a bowl of white rice. I can't really... It doesn't look like much, you know what I'm saying? But hopefully the flavor is packing a punch. Hopefully they use a lot of good mayo. Yeah, so this... Same with the chili. I gotta be honest with you. It's similar to the chili. I don't want to call it mid, but it just... it's middle of the road. Nothing wrong with it at all. But, you know, sometimes when you go to some of them spots, you know what I mean, you get that chili that's like, dang, or sorry, that coleslaw. Like, dang, what's that secret ingredient? Because you know they have one, probably MSG. Just kidding. And now I basically tried everything. Except this bad boy. Now, truffle. Putting truffle into anything these days is a huge trend in Korea, and it has been for probably a year or two, or maybe even 3. It's like, you don't even need to add it to something, but they will do it. And sometimes they overdo it, sometimes they do it in a perfect way. But I'm always a little bit scared because too much truffle can, honestly, for me, ruin the whole experience. No matter if it's a truffle burger, truffle sauce burger, truffle pizza, whatever it is. There are actually no truffles on this. It's just the truffle, some kind of sauce, and then mushrooms. So you can definitely smell the truffle on there, sauce, and you don't have as many, or if maybe none. I don't see any onions or peppers. I see cheese and some mushrooms and obviously the beef. This one's a lot. I mean, you could... Ooh. Umami. I'm getting a lot of umami from that. The beef. Beef and truffle. Man, I'm trying to think of something like clever to say about it, but it just works really well together. And it takes it to... I always talk about going to a different dimension when I'm eating foods. Or a different realm. This one takes me underground. It's very earthy in the best way. I feel like I'm foraging. I feel like I am... I feel like I'm one with the earth. And I know you're like, okay, that's a stupid thing to say, but I really do kind of feel that way when eating this. And that's all I can say. I think this might take it up to the next level, though. Might put me back above ground. So this... It's still not really sure what it is. It appears to be something like jardiniere. But it's kind of that sour kind of... It'll just contrast so well with the depth of the truffle and the beef. It does. There's so many layers of flavor. It's out of this world. And I haven't even tasted any kind of tough meat on this one. The truffle sauce or oil that they're using, I would say, is just the right amount. If it was any more, I wouldn't be maxing it like this. Yo. I'm feeling it right now. I always love discovering these places. It always amazes me too, how many, different kinds of restaurants you can find, even though I order kind of the same thing every single time in these videos. But the fact that this place exists in Seoul, in one, area, the one neighborhood, Seoul is alarmingly large. What I mean by that, it's very spread out. So it's not like Manhattan, for example, which is very condensed but tall. Seoul, not that tall, but so spread out. Like, gosh, I went to, like, halfway across the city, took me an hour. I guess kind of like LA, maybe. But yeah, so even in like my little rinky-dink neighborhood, you can get all types of food like this, stuff that I never tried before, and people who are using TLC. If you're making homemade bread and you're not like a bakery, that's what I consider TLC. If you feel me. Wait. Did I call these... What are these? Kidney beans or pinto beans? Yo, I always get it confused. They're kidney beans because they look like kidneys, right? If I said pinto earlier, just write me off as a fool. What you should try is a chili cheese fry. I guess there's no cheese. That was stupid. And yeah, I'll be honest with you. Like, I'm getting pretty full. Got the whole damn menu, so I probably should be getting full. If you go to a restaurant and order their entire menu and you don't get full, then either there's something really great about it or really off about it. No in between. The thing about coleslaw is, like, I probably ate about half of this. This is for like two people. You know, I don't love coleslaw enough to just max all this by myself. They packed it in tight. So I'm gonna finish off these fries. Well, fuck F it, man. For the vid, man. For the vids. Some big bites. All right. There we go on that one. And there's a few more fries and a drink. This drink. A very... It's not even a good story. It's not even a story, but the first time I ever had a Capri Sun, I don't think it was even the first time, but maybe it was. 3rd grade at lunch, I go into the lunchroom, and I got my parents. I didn't get hot lunch a lot of times. Like, my parents would pack my lunch. And I guess they threw a Capri Sun in there. Me not knowing anybody, because maybe I was in first grade, I don't know, but I was just a loner stoner, you know what I mean? Not in third grade, but I was a loner, and I sat at a table full of like, it's probably the first day of the damn school, and I walked in and I sat next to like just anybody. I don't know. So I sat next to some damn like fifth graders. I was probably in first grade, and I sat next to third graders. And these third graders were like, just, you know, I got the daily picking on, the daily jokes, but these guys were like, yo, you know the real way to eat drink Capri Sun. I pulled out my paper sack, and they're like, "What?" I was like, "No." Like, what you do is you stick it in the bottom. That's what you're supposed to do. You put the straw in the bottom. So I did it, and then I couldn't set it down, and they trolled me hard. Daily occurrence until I was about 22 years old. So, you know, I'm not trying to say like I made it out of that weird, ugly duckling phase. I think I still am in it. But if you are feeling that way and you're younger than me, hey, don't worry. Just don't worry about it. Once you got out of school, school sucks, man. Public school in America, probably everywhere. If you're a little bit different, it freaking sucks, man. So that's the one takeaway from this video. Another takeaway is learn from your lessons. You get trolled once, and now you don't make the same mistake putting the Capri Sun straw in the bottom, and you can troll other people. And also, this food, they had some very mighty fine moments. This is mighty fine food. All right. And so you find a new spot, and they're like, yo, zero ratings, 0 reviews. Like, I don't know if I can trust it. Give it a shot. It's probably better than going to the same restaurant that you always go to every single time, unless you live in a very small town where all you have is like 3 options. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that, and I'm gonna get out of here. $20, entire menu. That's crazy. All right, thank you guys for watching. I will catch you in the next one. Peace.